One evening, my girlfriend called me over, her voice carrying that hesitant edge people use when the decision is already made. She looked at me sideways and said, softly but firmly, "I need space. Let's just be friends." Her words cut deep, but I forced a small, controlled smile. I didn't beg. I didn't argue. I simply said, "Okay." That single word felt like I had just buried everything we had built together. Inside, though, I was breaking. This was the same girl who once promised me forever, the one who laughed with me until sunrise, who whispered dreams of a shared future. And now, with one sentence, she was stepping back as if none of it had ever mattered. I wanted to scream, to demand a reason, but I held my dignity instead. After that conversation, I went home and stared at our old photos. Every memory felt like poison, a reminder of what I had lost. My heart urged me to hold on, but my mind whispered a harsher truth. If she wanted space, she had already left me in her heart. So I let her go completely. I removed her from social media, deleted her from my contacts, even cleared our shared playlists. It wasn't revenge, it was survival. I couldn't heal while seeing her smile back at me through a screen. If she wanted to be friends, she could do that with someone else. I wasn't going to be her backup comfort. The first few days were brutal. I checked my phone constantly, hoping for a message that never came. Nights were the hardest. Silent tears, unanswered questions, the ache of absence. But gradually, the pain began to shift. I realized that my okay was stronger than her rejection. It was the first step in choosing myself. Friends told me I had done the right thing, though they didn't see the storm raging inside me. Pretending to move on was agonizing when every corner of my life still held traces of her. But I reminded myself daily, dignity was worth more than begging for scraps of love. Weeks passed, then months, and she reached out once. Her message was casual, as if nothing had happened. "Hey, how have you been?" I stared at the screen, chest heavy, and then closed the chat without replying. I knew if I answered, I'd slip back into her half-hearted affection. Cutting her off wasn't hatred. It was love. Love for myself enough to walk away from someone who no longer valued me. It was the hardest lesson I've ever learned, but also the most freeing. I refused to be an option when I had once been priority. Slowly, I found strength in the silence. The world didn't end without her, even though it felt like it would. I laughed again, met new people, and reclaimed pieces of myself I thought were lost with her. What I once saw as a cruel ending turned out to be a powerful beginning. She may never understand why I cut her off so completely, but the truth is, I couldn't linger in the shadows of friendship with someone who had already walked away from love. Sometimes, letting go fully is the only way to survive. And in that survival, I found something unexpected. Peace. No more waiting for messages that never came. No more pretending we could return to what we once were. Just freedom. And a future that didn't have her name written all over it. My okay wasn't just agreement to her request. It was a silent promise to myself. A promise that I would never settle for less than I deserved, not even from the person I once loved most. Because sometimes the strongest words aren't, "I love you," or "please stay." Sometimes the strongest thing you can say is simply, "okay," and mean it enough to walk away.